Hey friends, Irene Lyon here. Welcome to this video, to this channel, and to this world of healing trauma, nervous system health, and all things neuroplasticity. I was teaching just a couple of days ago in one of my programs, my online program, Smart Body, Smart Mind. Hello to all of those in that program who are watching this video. And for those of you who don't know what SBSM is, Smart Body, Smart Mind, I'll link it somewhere near this video so you can learn about it. We will open up registration next year in 2022. But I wanted to mention why we almost want to expect to be overwhelmed when we start this work. Now, I might be shooting myself in the foot here for even bringing this up, because maybe this will scare all of you away who have never started my work, but I'm gonna take that risk because I want to just be 100% candid, but also give your system the benefit of the doubt, meaning if we are anticipating perhaps that something will be overwhelming and challenging and hard, then when it happens, you can put that higher brain hat on and go, this is what she was warning us of. This is what she mentioned when she said in that video, when we start this work, we might be overwhelmed. Now, chances are, if you're watching this video, you're interested in healing the nervous system. Maybe you know you have stored, unhealed, traumatic stuff within your physiology, within your brain, body, mind connections. And so you know that you got stuff stored, you know, what is that saying? Skeletons in the closet, stuff's been brushed under the rug and not dealt with. You know, let's just say that there's stuff that is stored, and you know that because you're not well, right? There's a chronic condition that you have with your physiology, digestion, immune system, cardiovascular problems. Maybe there's a more, as we would classify, mental health issue going on. Maybe there's relational stuff. Maybe you just have no motivation. Maybe there's just this no drive to move forward in life. And you've gotten to this point and you're starting to realize, I think this might be because of old trauma, old adversity, old bad, scary things that happened to me when I was young, when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s, 30s, whatever, and I want to work with it. So if you are here saying, yep, that's me, I want to work with it, I will now say, know that this path is a lifestyle and it is long-term, and it can be tough, but, or I should say, and it's tough for a reason. It's tough for a reason because these old survival stressors, and we call them fight, flight, freeze. I'm not going to get into them deeply in this video because I'm going to link some links so that you can go learn about these a bit more, because I have so many other videos that talk about that. But when we have had these bad things that happen to us and our system is trying to fight and flee and protect, or maybe we need to shut down because we can't fight and we can't flee, that stuff just doesn't go away. And what it does is it creates these troubles that we have, these chronic illnesses, these mental illnesses, these relational problems, trouble driving forward in life, having emotional intelligence, etc., etc. So if we know that that has been stored in our system and we're here wanting to work with it, know that to work with this and to heal and to get that stuff out means we have to feel it. We have to face it. We could say this is that shadow work. We're having to go into the dark parts of our system, all the little nooks and crannies where we hid that stuff inside. And if we just know, you know what, this is going to be a little bumpy. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster ride. Might be like riding a tsunami wave on a surfboard. I don't even know how to surf. I don't even know how to swim, but I'm going to sign up and do it anyway. A, that's a very good mindset to have starting this. And then B, before we put you on that surfboard and put you on that tsunami, not that I would ever want anyone to ride a tsunami, but metaphorically speaking, we need to teach you how to swim first. We need to teach you how to surf on baby waves, right? We don't want to overwhelm you and just throw you into that body of water and say, have at it, go for it, good luck, we'll see you on the beach. So what happens though, is when we start this work, there is this desire for it to be done yesterday. Typically, this is what I typically see. And so we show up in the online course or in the therapist's office or whatever it might be, and we're faced with this flood of all the things that have to be done, because this isn't something that can just happen in one day. And I think deep down we know that this is a long-term process. This is a long-tailed approach. And I say that over and over again. This is not a quick fix. This is like eating well and exercising. You don't just do it for 10 days or 12 days. You've got to do it your whole life. Now, this doesn't mean that we can't regulate our systems and heal trauma, and those traumas are fully gone from our system. Yes, that happens. And I should say, things happen as we keep living. We will get stressors. Traumatic things will occur. People will get hurt in our lives. We'll pass in our lives. We'll have adversity of all sorts and shapes and kinds. The key is that we are building the language. We're building the tools so that we can be with our body and our physiology in a way that is grounded, that is resilient, and that understands this stress physiology, these fight, flight, freeze mechanisms. So when they happen, we aren't going into more activation, more of a fear response. It's like we're feeling the fear, we're feeling the physiology, but we're not afraid of it. When we were really young, let's just say, for example, and we had that abuse, that adversity, that bad, scary thing that happened to us, we didn't have the skill and the know-how to work with that in that current time, right? That's why that stuff gets trapped inside. And it gets trapped inside usually because our caregivers don't know how to support the process of healing that. And often they are the people that put that not into our system, but they're the people in the environment that make it such that our system shuts down, it freezes, and it traps it all inside. So we just didn't have the mechanisms and the modeling for it to come out. So give yourself the benefit of the doubt, knowing that the reason why this is still here with us, with you as an adult, is because you just didn't have the skills, the tools, the support to move it out. But now, as an adult, you're learning. You're here wanting to do this work. So in a strange way, I'm saying be open, be aware, recognize that there might be some overwhelm, and that's okay. If anything, feeling that overwhelm is an entry point into working with your physiology. Chances are when you were that little person and you were living in a chaotic environment or an environment that didn't give you what you needed, there was a sense of overwhelm, a sense of stress, of survival, a sense of, I don't know what's going on here, but you didn't know how to work with it. So now, today, sensing that overwhelm and then going into some of the basic tools that I teach. I have many resources that I will, again, link below that will guide you through some of the basics of learning how to connect with the body, how to connect with the environment, how to connect with both of those at the same time in little titrated drops. Again, this is something I've talked about before in the past in videos, this importance of doing this work little pieces at a time. To go back to that surfing the tsunami wave example, you don't want to just start on the tsunami wave. You want to start with wading in the water, feeling the water, knowing how to, tread the water, how to swim, how to stand on a board, how to catch little waves, and then bigger waves, and then bigger waves, and bigger waves. Working with our physiology, working at healing these old adversities, it's kind of the same way, right? That big adversity that happened when we were young, it was like that tsunami wave. It's like the system didn't know how to surf it, so it just trapped it inside. So again, now as an adult, you want to surf that wave. You want to figure out that scary thing that happened. But before you can approach that scary thing and go to it face to face, work with this, as we would call the shadow side, the dark side, get comfortable with just the basics of the body, the basics of feeling that overwhelm. So without even going into the story or the history of the traumas, the abuses, the adversities, just like, yep, I'm feeling a little something in my heart, even as she talks about this, or I'm about to start my first lesson, or I'm about to press play on this audio download that Irene has, whatever it might be that you choose to work with when you go into my world. Pause that audio, pause that moment of pressing play on the video. Take a moment to just sense what is activating in the system with even the thought of starting to do this work. That is like bringing the titration, bringing the drops to even smaller little pieces. And many might say, well, that's just silly. Why would I just wait, even though I'm feeling an activation before even pressing play? That is the gold. That is the entry point into working with your physiology, as opposed to, here's scenario B, I'm feeling the activation, I'm feeling so overwhelmed, but I gotta get this lesson done. I've gotta get my practice in, so I'm gonna press play, and I'm gonna, white knuckle it. I'm just gonna do it. But then we go into that process with more survival stress, with more disconnection from the here and now, and then we recreate the patterns that have been sitting in our body and our nervous system and all that kind of stuff. So this can be some of the hardest things, this can be, I should say, one of the hardest things to teach my students is, can you really follow the biological impulse? Honor it, trust it, and even though it seems ridiculously simple to not go that next step, take a step back and sense, what is the system saying? What is that overwhelm saying? Because in that moment is an opening, perhaps, to an old memory, an old sensation, that time when you felt overwhelmed to do, say, a presentation in school, and you didn't have the time to feel your body and connect because you didn't know how, and you just had to do it because they had to get through all the students in the class. So again, that's just one little tiny example that came to my brain. But what would it be like to pause that overwhelm and feel it and name it and be with it and dance with it and play with it and see what the body wants to do with it? So to reel it back to kind of the main thesis of this video, simple, but because of the simplicity, it's also complex in a strange kind of way. You may feel as you get into this work and you start doing it, this sense of overwhelm, this sense of, I can't do this, this is too much. And some people will quit and they'll walk away, and that's okay. I hope you don't. I think there is a way to use that overwhelm to harvest and harness its energy and to see what it might be, what might be there. What can it teach us? And interestingly enough, if you can be with that overwhelm, process it, feel it, stay in the here and now, stay connected to the body, use my resources to do that, it opens up space in the system. It actually brings more capacity on board. And then it teaches us, oh, I just navigated that little tiny tsunami wave. I just surfed that overwhelm. And then it logs in our memory banks, in our neurophysiology. I can handle it when my physiology spikes this way. I was able to stay connected and surf that wave and come to shore and then have a rest. And then that means the next time it comes up, your system is that much more prepared. It has the capacity to deal with the next thing and the next thing. All right, I hope this has been useful, a little different today. Wanted to just speak to this topic of overwhelm because I really don't want anyone to stop this work because they're feeling overwhelmed. It's part of the process. There is no way we are going to work with deep, deep survival energies, near-death survival energies, without feeling some intensity and some strain and some pain and some tension and emotions and this sense like, I'm never going to get this done. I'm never going to get through this. We want to almost expect it. And then as we get better at that, these little things, they come in, we feel them, and we have the skill to know how to do it. And then the bigger waves become just like little baby waves. No big deal. All right. Thank you for being here, everyone. Like I said, I've mentioned some other resources. I'll pop them below or near this video so you can learn and take in more, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.